I'm just waiting for the streams to come up, make sure that everything's running, and then we'll get going. It's doing it differently than it usually does.
Live on YouTube.
Yeah, but something's different. Something's not right. Because they changed it. Now I can't get to the thing. It should be on stream now or events. Live dashboard. Okay, they've changed some things here. Always changing something. How can I see the link to this stream? Where in the world is it? Seriously. Oh, come on, YouTube. What are you doing to me here?
YouTube's up.
Well,
I'm
it's
watching
up,
it right now.
but where in the world can I find a link to it? Because they changed the way that they did it.
Grab the link from the top, right?
Dashboard? No. I just want to see this.
Share.
There we go. Gosh. Okay. Found a link for it. Because I had to change everything right before the show started. Alright, let's see. Alright, so that is posted. Looks like that's good. Man.
Watch now.
Alright, so that's all live. Let me make sure we're good in Facebook, and we'll get going.
What's up, Jason? What's up, Liam? What's up, Rick? What's up, Chris? What's up, Keen? What's up, Dan Marino?
Alright, share on my timeline. The bat signal has been activated. So we're good there. Alright. Alright. I think so. Alright, let's start.
We're just gonna, Joel, we're gonna,
Joel?
we're gonna record this as a segment, and then, so you don't have to sit around for the whole spiel that we do, or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We are rolling audio. Let me take this back here now. 3-pod. Here we go.
Yay!
Okay. That's rolling. Waiting for the chat messages to come through. I think we're good. Okay, so everybody is rolling
Hey,
audio.
I'm hearing the metronome.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Always defaults that. I need to fix that. Tick tock, tick tock. Okay. We're going to do a sync real quick. That'll be 1, 2, 3, clap. Alright. You ready? We're going to do a clap on 4, basically.
Jules, you good?
Yep.
Alright.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Perfect.
Alright.
Ready to go?
All right, Matt, will you lead the intro?
Introduction?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Joining us today is President CEO of Otsoy, once again, Mr. Jules Urbach. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure, as always.
Let's get into it. You guys just released officially version 4, and had a new pricing scheme and stuff. So let's kind of like how was the release of Octane 4 overall?
It was great. We got a ton of new customers on Black Friday, a ton of upgrades. I think that, going back, as I sort of mentioned, even on some of the forums on Facebook and even in Slack, I felt like we probably should have pushed everything related to new versions out a little bit further so people could just digest, everything that was, already there with Octane 4. But we did promise a bunch of things that we had to deliver on, and one of them was, we were going to have, for $20 a month, the ability for you to get all the different plugins, extra render slaves, and all that stuff. So, we decided to have essentially a way for subscription users to get that by having a year prepaid, still $20 a month, but paid, a year in advance. We took 25% off of that for Black Friday, which I think a lot of people took advantage of.
I can imagine a lot of people took advantage of that.
And so for everything related to, we released just about every one of the integrated plugins. I think there's something like 18 now that have been put out for V4 officially. And the upgrade process, we, the very first day on Thursday, there was a little bit of, we had a lot of customers that were upgrading, so it was slow, but we've successfully, I think everyone's been upgrading correctly. And one of the things that I think people were probably a little confused about is that we were seeing on one hand, subscribers getting things like the ability to access all these plugins that we couldn't do for perpetual license. So what we wanted was to have the ability for people on perpetual license to at least get a subscription and have that. And in addition to that, that subscription would also just be an extra render slave. So that was where Octane All Access came from. And I think if we just sort of kept it to that for the launch, it would have been pretty straightforward, because the concept of basically, rather than individually going out and buying those plugins for a few $100s each, or render slave for a few $100s each, you get, all the plugins and a render slave, and that's, $1,000+ for essentially $20 a month. So that I think would have been the simplest thing to launch. What we also did, because we had Octane 2018, which is essentially our version 5, ready to go, I just felt like, well, we should also let users know what the how things are going to work in the future. Octane 4, was a free update. We did it for a number of reasons. One of them was we felt that we were making some changes that were going to cost users money, and one of them was the fact that we are bringing back offline licensing with a dongle. On your Slack channel, you brought up the fact that we thought it was going to be $10, and that was so we're selling those dongles at cost. And we were planning to have much, the idea is you could buy 5 of them for $50. Problem is the vendor that was selling us those dongles raised the price at the last minute, and that's the price that we have to, essentially sell them for. However, we did keep Octane 4 as a free update. So normally Octane updates have been $80, between version 2 and 3. So the hope is that with the $80 that's saved with a free update, you have the ability to get a dongle. You can also use that money towards other things. And what we wanted to do going forward was come up with a way, given especially that we're now doing basically 3 major updates a year, to cover that with the annual maintenance plans, very similar to what other software services do. And we did that. So that was something that was, part of, if you're going to basically pay us a subscription of any kind, we need to roughly cover users, whether they're on subscriptions and pay nothing, or whether they paid hundreds or even a lot of money. If you're going to cover them for future updates or perpetually going forward, it's roughly $20 a month, maybe a little bit less, and we can put a lot into that. So we wanted to have future upgrades covered for that cost, as well as other things we could throw into that bundle, and that was where Octane All Access came from. I think the thing that a lot of users reacted to, which I don't think is very surprising, but we weren't sure what percentage of our customers really we're completely sold on the idea of perpetual owning licenses and owning Octane forever. So initially we did not plan on having future updates after 4 be rent to own, and with a lot of feedback within the first couple of days from users, we changed that. So after 36 months of these annual plans or annual maintenance things, you can own those updated versions. One of the reasons why we also
That's interesting.
Yeah, and that was something that put a lot of people's, I mean, there's just a certain segment of Octane users that were really upset that they couldn't own Octane going forward. And I understand that. And the reason why we didn't start from that point was that there are a lot of things that we're adding to Octane, especially, a year from now, or, over the years, that are just going to have more and more pieces that are, that are online services only. Like LiveDB2, when we upgrade that, will be something that will be much more like a cloud service versus a static database.
I had a quick question on that, because I noticed that you said that you were going to update that to an online service. Is the live database, are we still going to be able to plug in our own into the LiveDB?
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be much more of a marketplace. But there'll also be pieces of Octane that we want to just distribute through LiveDB, for example, that'll be updated. So LiveDB right now, you download an OrbX or material, and it's a file. And what we want to do is switch to references, where you have a reference to a material or a service or a module or anything, a lot more stuff in the future, shader nodes, whatever it is, that essentially get compiled, almost like an after publishes, where it gets compiled and pulled down. And that's kind of where we're going with that, and of course there'll still be LiveDB1 the way it is now. That's not changing. We're just adding something new that will probably be released after we change the material system. And I think that once we do that, we also want to have the ability for first and third parties to be able to put out things for free, but also charge for those things. So if you have a bunch of OrbX materials, like what the Grayscale Girl guys just put out, like you can basically sell that.
That was my first thought.
Yeah, like anything that's an OrbX that can be turned into OrbX now could go through this service. And it should be, that's something we want to do for a very long time, but we just have frankly been focused on before and what we have planned for 2018 and now 2019. And I think after those pieces are out, which hopefully by, early next year we'll have 2018.1 finished, then we wanted to add, these kinds of things on top of that. And so I think that because, and so we figured, okay, at some point, we're just going to be updating pieces of Octane continuously, and it's going to go on forever, and it's going to be a service, and that's something that just inevitably, now that we've been doing Octane now for almost a decade from now, it's really clear that that's going to be a big part of how things work. We want to do things that are more, they can sort of update pieces more continuously, and I was concerned, by having future versions, commit to always working perpetually and not having anything that requires further maintenance, that we were locking ourselves out of that. So what we've done to make the rent-to-own model work is that, well, nothing in Octane 2018, which is the next version, has any of that. So that's fine. Probably the version after that probably won't have any of those pieces. And any versions beyond that, we'll just work on a way to extricate or separate anything that we're adding that's an online-only service from something that you can continue to run offline. And we'll see how that goes, middle of next year when we start getting into that.
Is there any chance of or thoughts of you guys circumventing the dongle altogether and just adding the same functionality back of offline licensing? I know some people had some issues with it, but like me personally, I don't love the idea of a dongle because I get it.
Because for me, it's because I lose things.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
It's certainly possible. We decided, for two reasons to go with the dongle for at least this release, and we can change it. I mean, we're totally ready to. I mean, we've just changed our entire pricing model from 2 days of feedback. So there's things that we can adjust and change. The reason why we got rid of the old one was, one, it was useless because you could run Octane in a VM, and tons of users did, and it just basically, it cost us a ton of sales. But the other reason was also that the locks and unlock system was driving users crazy. And so at least the hardware dongle completely eliminates that unreliability. So I think there's probably something we can do in the future that's maybe a better approach. Because I agree with you that I really hated the idea of doing a hardware dongle. I think it's not great, but it's something. And it's a stopgap, I think, for now that we'll definitely revisit. I mean, and we can and probably should do that down the line. We just didn't have a better option, at least right now, for the V4 release, but that doesn't mean that we can't come up with something better or different. I hear you.
Yeah, my only thing is that I'm scared that once I take it with me somewhere, I'm going to end up like losing it or something. Because and just to be clear for listeners, if you put your license on that dongle at that point, like that's it. Like if you lose the dongle, you're out of luck, right?
Well, I'm sure they could contact you guys, right?
Yeah, we can sort that out. I mean,
okay.
If you lose a dongle, you've lost $49, but we can help you with your license.
Okay, okay, that's what I was like super scared about.
Yeah, so the dongles, one of the things that like it's sort of a double-edged sword. The dongles do call home every 4 months. I mean, it's meant to give you, it's meant to give you 4 months of continuous offline access. But first of all, we're going to be releasing new things, new versions, and the dongles need to be updated for those versions anyway. Secondly, if you do lose your dongle in 4 months, the license basically expires on that dongle, and we could help send you over another one. So there are options.
Okay, good.
And yeah, so we're not, it's not the end of the world, other than $50 worth of dongle hardware is gone, and that it should be cheaper. We are absolutely going to try to get back to that lower price point that we initially wanted, and at some point see if we can just eliminate this entirely and do that securely in a way that's good for users. Because I agree, it's dongles are a relic of the past. If we can avoid them, we like to. It's just this is what we felt was the right middle ground for this, for at least this version and this release.
Am I right in? Did you guys just release a Houdini version of Octane as well?
Houdini's been released it's been there for a long time. It's been part of our, since V3, really V3.
Was there another one that I was thinking maybe for version 4? Did that just come out? Maybe I'm just
something.
Maybe I dreamed about it.
No, you might be seeing something about. So yeah, Octane 2018 engine version 5 has vertex attributes, which is something that has, Ahmed for the C4D plugin has basically hacked around that. To get us, sort of vertex maps. You don't have to hack that anymore. It's built in. It's a core feature in the new version. And in Houdini, it's really held Octane back significantly from where it should be. And it's one of those things that, I would have loved to have done that even in V4, but, there just wasn't enough time. I mean, we could have kept adding to V4 and never released it. So as it was, I think the right approach was to put out a version by the end of this year, which is what 2018 is, that has it in there. And we're actively looking for people to test vertex attributes and user data attributes in Octane for Houdini, and get us early feedback, because that's really kind of a major, reason why we added that feature and wanted to push that out there. It'll also help Ahmed in C4D as well, but in Houdini there just wasn't that workaround. So that's something that we want to see more testing. But yeah, I think Houdini and Octane will be significantly improved by this.
Okay, so we're going to go over some of these questions. I know that in our Slack channel, you're in there now. You've answered some of them in there. For the listeners, though, we are going to go over some of this stuff. First of all, just regular purchasing. You have Octane 4 with all the plugins, the All Access bundle that you can still get as a perpetual license, correct?
At least for your you will not keep the extra plugins when the thing expires, but at least the updates for Octane 4 with the 3 year with 3 years of this, you'll keep those updates. So version 2018, for example, stays as a perpetual license. Gotcha.
And then you can get the Octane 4 standalone with a render slave as a separate package as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and those prices are the same as they were for version 3, so nothing's been changed or increased for those.
Okay. And then you have the unbundled, of course, if you want to get something a la carte, those prices all vary.
Yeah, and also unchanged from version 3.
Okay. And you can also get the, the standalone edition plus a single plugin without the all access like before.
Yeah, 619 pretty much.
All right, so upgrading wise, you can upgrade from what you have to the all access with the annual extension 1, 2, or 3 years.
Yeah.
And so that gives you, if you upgrade to that, then you get all of the plugins, right?
Yes, you get all the plugins that are part of Octane Studio, which is the ones that are on subscription. Most of them, I think there's like 18. There's some that haven't even been released individually, like After Effects, for example, is part of that bundle. We're going to do a couple of others. Unreal Engine will be part of that bundle. It won't be sold as a separate integration. Unity is basically already integrated with Octane, so when you own this thing, you'll also get Octane 2018 within Unity, or 2019 as well. And yeah, you also get another render slave. So that, those, extra plugins, extra render slave, future updates, those are the big 3 things you get with the annual plan.
And the studio subscriptions are max 20 GPUs?
Yes, so they used to be 2, and you only used to get 1 plugin. And so for $20 a month, you still get 1 plugin, but you can now use up to 20 GPUs, and you have network rendering support. So if you get 2 subscriptions, you can actually use the second one as a render slave.
That's great.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work with non-subscription licenses, though. Is that right?
We say don't use it, but it actually does. You know, we did have markets. It's just, you know, it's one of those things where we didn't want to create any more, you know, things. But yeah, if you get a $20 a month Octane, and you're on Octane 4, I don't know if it'll work in the future, but yeah, we don't block you from using that $20 a month subscription piece to actually be used as another render slave. You can get 10 of those, and have, you know, for $20 a month, get 10 render slaves. At least with V4, it works up to, you know, so that's. You know, that's an option. We didn't want to add any more confusion to users, but it's not something we're stopping. The reason why we also don't want to push, you know, people too far into that ecosystem is that beyond Octane 4, we may go back to the 2 GPUs or even 1 GPU, whatever, for 2018 and 2019. Like V4, we just, you know, we wanted to open that up and see what happened and, you know, get feedback on that. But it may not, you know, always be the case that, you know, we'll support that in versions beyond that. I mean, the subscriptions are priced really around, you know, an entry point that is much less than people that are obviously investing, you know, $700 to get a, you know, perpetual license. So, you know, we have to be careful with that. But, you know, for at least for the foreseeable future with V4, yeah, you can just use a subscription license as a slave node. So that works.
And I'm trying to get some of the questions in the chat room too. Glider LP says, does the Box Enterprise AA include another render node? I'm trying to wrap my head around that.
Yeah, yes, it does.
All access.
Yeah,
okay.
So you basically get a second render node, a full second license, basically, with the annual maintenance. You know, and people are like, they want to call it maintenance, which is true. It is that, but it also includes obviously more. It includes that, you know, another slave node license, and that license is like, it's basically people that have signed up for all access see an all access like plugin or, you know, line item in their you know, in their things they can, you know, in their licenses tab or page, and that one license will unlock basically a full second node, all these extra plugins, and yeah, that's part of the package. So the first thing that we're putting out immediately this week is that second, you know, node license. And early next year, we'll have all of the plugins updated to support that all access thing as well. We wanted to have that ready if we could by you know, by this launch, but there was already a lot on our plate, and you know, this is something that we want to get a little more testing in the next month before we put out, you know, the ability for you to grab 20 more, you know, plugins basically.
Okay. So let's go over we're going to go over some of the frequently asked questions, which I know that you have a page now that answers a lot of this, but again, for our listeners, we'll just kind of go over some of the major ones here. Just to reiterate, Octane 4 is a free upgrade from Octane 3,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean you're going to get 2018 for free when it comes out.
Yeah.
But you can participate in the beta for that if you have Octane 4? Okay.
Yeah, the beta even if you have a subscription, everyone gets to access the beta for new releases.
Okay.
Even when we go to 2019, I think we'll keep that going so people can actually kind of see what they would be getting should they, you know, were they to upgrade. So yeah, right now the 2018 XB1 release and everything through the stable version will be completely available to, you know, all users that have V4.
Okay. Let's see. Monthly subscription does support network rendering. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Subscription includes all the plugins if you pay annually. We talked about that. Let's see. Okay, let's talk about ORC access included in all access. That's starting in Q1. It's not out yet, right? Oh, sorry. I lost them. Hold on.
Should have an ORC subscription working as well.
Sorry,
okay?
sorry,
Yeah.
I lost you for a second. Let's start back there. ORC access as hold on. I've lost the.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, just 1 second.
I see all of you guys. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Skype decided to take a dump. Hold on. Have you up in 1 second here. There we go. Got y'all, sorry. All right. Orc access in Q1.
Yeah, maybe sooner. So Orc has been, it's literally been a subscription that you can get, and some existing users bought that subscription just to get Orc, and we made that $10 a month versus the $20. But that can be thrown in. I mean, essentially, as I was saying before, subscriptions and even ongoing annual maintenance, essentially, whether it's through All Access, is really meant to cover support for a user and maybe a node. And so things like adding Orc in there just made a lot of sense. We don't necessarily want people paying extra just to be able to access the service. So that is included, and that's no longer an extra cost. So if you're paying subscriptions annually, or you're paying the annual maintenance, if you're a perpetual license user, you just get that too.
Great. Render farms, you have something on there about coming soon too for people like PixelPlow.
Yes. So you guys tuned me into PixelPlow, and I started to look into it, and it's great. I really like what they do, and we've been connected over email. So what we're doing with, we had to get V4 done, so it didn't make any sense to try to do this before that release. And as I mentioned on the Slack channel, I'll sort of reiterate here. We've always, I think since 2016 or early 2017, we've had the ability for render farms to have a build of Octane that is cloud rendering edition, and come to us and don't worry about the EULA. And literally no one did. So and you still see some render farms that have Octane not legally. And so I figured that I wanted to work in the future with people that actually had a lot of capacity and that were already having really good customer service. And I think Pixel Plus really falls in that category. But we also have other partners, that want to have their own storefronts that sell Octane the way they want. And so with V4, because of render, we have a version of, what used to be the Cloud Render Edition that basically is just usage-based. And it's something that's actually, we had to do it for render because render, when it runs Octane and it does a job, needs to get a token. It doesn't need your Octane credentials or sign-in or dongle. It's a different licensing system. So with that, we can provide a version to PixelPlow or Zinc or ThinkBox that basically allows them to sell Octane the way they want. Behind the scenes, they're basically paying for usage to us through the render token system with a build of Octane that is essentially set up for that. And that's something that we have working now internally. And so we will see render farms that can at least support that model correctly. And we want to get the good ones on there first by the end of the year if we can.
All right.
That'd be awesome.
That's basically in addition to Orc and in addition to render, or sort of a different, render to me is like a whole skew of things. It doesn't always have to be through the Orc interface. It can be done any way you want, as long as there's some usage that's token based, that's handling the the whole system, and we have that. So yeah.
Speaking of render tokens, is there I know you were talking first quarter, second quarter, third, fourth quarter when we previously spoke. I don't know if it was 1 or 2 times ago about the whole render token stuff. At what point will we be able to start getting onto the service and allowing people to use our machines and so on and so on? Is there a scheduled time?
Yeah, I think realistically that's Q1. Right now, this quarter, we just updated the roadmap. So if you go to rendertoken.com and you look at, the Medium post that was just posted around phase 3. Phase 3, which is in progress right now, is in beta testing, and right now it has built-in OrbX scenes. So the people on the beta can basically start a job with one of 20 different prepackaged scenes. The next phase in phase 3, part B, is to let people upload their own files and scenes and have that run on the testnet. And then the last piece is we add the watermarking system, and we let people actually fulfill these jobs and expand the beta for render tokens. And the very, very, very last piece is we put render token on the exchanges so that people, when they get render tokens for their work, can actually exchange that for US dollars.
Nice. Cool. All right.
So those pieces are over the next couple of months basically. And testing has gone really well. I mean, I think I I don't know if we had a podcast since we announced the numbers that signed up for the service as miners. It's 14,000 GPUs, 1.56 million Octane Bench.
Wow.
Yeah, average of 10 1080s per node, which is awesome because that density means that we're, we can just crunch through things, and we have more GPU rendering power than all the, GPUs on the public cloud combined. And I know what those numbers are because we work really closely with a lot of these guys and their partners. So capacity was my main reason for launching Render. I just always was concerned that we didn't have enough GPUs. And that's still a concern, by the way, with render farms that have, like 128 GPUs. Like, that's not a lot. That's not a lot. Like on ORC, there are jobs that are in C4D that are 10K panos that are 2,000 GPUs per customer. And that's a kind of, and that's a lot of Amazon GPU capacity, by the way, but it's still, when you're doing thousands of frames and they're huge, giant, renders and stuff. So that's the thing, is that I feel like Render has to solve the capacity problem so we can push cloud rendering further. And if you want exactly what Amazon delivers, including MPA certification and all this stuff, then Render will deliver that at the same price. But if you want things that that are lower priority, or that are cheaper, that don't have some of these other things, we will, just like on AWS where you have spot instance pricing, we can have the same thing on Render, except unlike spot instances that run out instantly, like, we'll have a lot more capacity. So I think there'll be a lot more flexibility with the pricing. And I think Render is going to be amazing. It's already something that, the capacity we have is already a game changer as far as I'm concerned. So I'm excited.
That's right.
So on free tier, supported platforms, Unity and Blender. There's Blender coming soon as well.
Yeah, Blender is the next one, and then we have a few more that we're looking at. I just want to be, I want to have them almost ready when we announce it. But there's two other free builds that we're doing, and our target for the free tiers are for DCC, for applications that are already free. So Blender and Unity are free. Yeah. And a couple other of our integrations are for tools that are also free. And so we'll basically start with those first, see how those do. And there's nothing that's, I'm not against the idea at some point of making many more plugins completely free, but we have to come up with ways of monetizing that. So maybe if Render does really well and everyone's just paying us, some sort of, percentage for usage, that could basically support an entire ecosystem of, of Octane being free down the line. And that would be great. I would love to see that happen because I think it would just get a lot more people with a lot more, power and tools. And that would be something that we want to get to. So in order to make those steps, like, we have to be, we have to understand what usage is like when Octane is completely free in tools that have large audiences like Blender and Unity. And, we'll go from there and figure it out.
All right. I've got some other questions here from some people in our Slack channel, and I'm going to, some of these we covered. This actually has to do with the new technology, RTX. Dave D asks, are there any updates from internal testing on how big a difference the new cores are making? Like, as far as the new technology, RTX, as far as how much faster that's going to become once that technology is implemented?
Yes. So we've been, I think around right after SIGGRAPH, we put out, and it was shared with a Forbes reporter, a version of Octane Bench that ran on OptiX that could use the RT cores, the ray tracing hardware cores on RTX cards. And it went from, in those days, Octane Bench was, I think it went from about 270 or 280 on a 2080 Ti to 360, something like that. So it was a pretty good 30% boost. And since then, we've actually, we've put a lot of improvements into the V4 release. So if you try V4 on an RTX card, Octane Bench 4 is now out. You'll see your speeds go from 270 to 300. And similarly with the RTX work that we're doing, not for 2018, but for the version after that, 2019, which has a whole new engine, it's basically our Octane 6. We switched from OptiX to Vulkan, so we could get even more speed. And those are now getting, those cards, those the RTX 6000 and the 2080 Ti's are now about 400 Octane Bench versus the 300 they were with V4 and the 270 or 250 they were if you on the same hardware run it with V3. And those are pretty conservative numbers for what you would get in a first release of Octane that would be optimized for those RT cores. But as we've sort of shown in other cases, the speed is double, in cases where You have a lot more scene geometry than what we currently have in Octane Bench. And the thing is, the simpler the materials are and the more geometry, the faster RTX makes the render go. So it's something that we know can be 2 times faster on the very same 2080 Ti, just turning RTX on and off. I mean, we've shown that. And the thing is, I don't know if we're going to get to those speeds. I mean, I think we're already at we might get to the halfway point, like 1.5x or 1.4x, not 2x in the first release, but to get to 2x, and maybe even possibly further than that, we have to do a lot more work on Octane. So a lot of what's in the future 2019 roadmap is keep working on RTX and keep making it faster until until we can really get to maybe double the speed if it's possible. And if not, I mean, it's still a huge. I mean, you're getting an entire GPU just turning RTX on or off. It's a lot of value. So that's kind of where we're at with it. But even Octane 4, we did get the RTX cards really early in the year, and we didn't get a chance to do much with them on Octane 308, but for 4, we did a lot more work. So these 4, as I said, is at 25% faster on RTX cards, and on Pascal, it's 10 to 15% faster. But yeah, the RTX cards already are faster with V4, so it's pretty good investment for that extra 10 or 15% over Pascal. And they'll be even more so, early next year when we put out these initial releases with RT Core support.
But yeah, see, that was going to be my question, because a lot of people right now, with the way the pricing is, and they're looking at, for example, a comparison between a 1080 Ti and a base 2080. People are trying to make that decision. Well, which card should I get? Should I get one with RTX? Is it going to be a good investment in the future? What do you think? If somebody's looking like right now to buy and they're trying to decide between an older card or a newer card, what should they do?
So I think the formula I would use is conservatively add 30% to the Octane Bench score, and then look at the price again and see if that makes a difference. Also consider that on the, which is because, I mean, I think we know that even, that we should be able to get to 30% across the board. Like, there's going to be cases where it's a lot faster. And there are probably cases where if you're just doing volumes and nothing else, it'll be no faster. So overall, 30% speed boost across the board is a reasonable expectation on top of the current Octane Bench, which is already a little bit faster on RTX cards. And the other thing to consider is on the 2080 and the 2080 Ti, you have NVLink, and NVLink is now supported in Octane 2018. And we actually hope people try it out, because we need testers trying those things out. But that gives you, you don't have to go to add a core, because you'll basically be doubling GPU memory. And on the 2080 Ti, that's 22 gigs. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And that used to cost a lot more money to get 22 gigs of VRAM. So it's a huge improvement for people that can use that kind of memory. And I think that alone, I mean, you don't need to wait for us to finish the RTX optimizations to see the value of NVLink. Like, that's why we put out 2018 with that in there immediately, so that people can really give us feedback on that. But going out of core even a little bit does have a speed hit, and you don't have to hit that speed hit with NVLink as much. It's much faster. So I think that's also a value. At least in the 2080 and the 2080 Ti's, not in the 2070. I don't think.
Okay. Now, we came up there. We got a little tour, and you showed us around and everything. I don't know how much we can even talk about certain things, so I'll just ask this question from Dave. Right out the gate, he says, "Well, so what OTOY development has been the most exciting for you recently?" It could be like not even something that's released yet, or something you're working on, or.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and the stuff I've shown you guys, and Mike as well, when everyone that came over during that week, it's fully public now. So we have a partnership with a company called Lightfield Labs, and they make holographic display panels. And it's not like the lenticular stuff. I mean, this truly can create a white light hologram. It's 4,000 dpi, and it's amazing. And it's one of these things where I just imagine that whether it's even forget a holodeck, which you can build a holodeck out of these things if they're tileable. Just having a tabletop version of this would be amazing for design and visualization, and you don't have to wear glasses to get essentially an augmented reality experience, or and so that I think is glasses. I've tried really small glasses that are 4 ounces, 8 hours. It's too much. If you don't have to wear anything, and you can see something in 3D and even touch it, that's great. So that partnership with Lightfield Labs is something that that really is going to probably come to fruition more in the coming years. It's not going to be like something we're going to have in a few months. But the prototype display, the 6x4 inches, works with Octane already. And what you guys had seen and what I was showing, and what I've shown just in slivers and pieces since SIGGRAPH, is that we also have a version of essentially, it's a mixture of both Octane and the light field viewer that we've been showing for a while mixed into one, because you can still treat it as with the same scene graph you have in Octane, but it pre-computes anything that you save as a light field, and then it re-renders that, and that can be used to drive 16K by 10K at 60, which is what the holographic display needs in real time. And when Mike saw it, and I think when you guys are seeing, people are like, well, this could be an amazing thing just for Octane. If we could basically hit a button and pre-compute light field assets and then bring them back in and move the scene around and just render in real time with no noise, why don't we have that? So we're thinking about just putting that out, forgetting holographic displays, just as a its own thing or an addendum to Octane. That is super exciting, but ultimately the reason why that technology exists is to drive future holographic panels that are coming out in the next couple of years. And I think that'll be amazing. And
it's also taking like the ambient light, the ambient like and just applying it as an HDR basically back on top of the scene, right?
Exactly. And so and you've also shown some cool things too. Like we have Octane pretty much running on iOS now. All the work that we're doing with Vulkan for RTX with sort of a hybrid version of CUDA and Vulkan. Ultimately, we want to move everything into that Vulkan stack, and if we do, it's not actually Vulkan that we're using. We're using a cross compiler that also spits out metal, and so the pieces of Octane that are already in that cross compiler allow us to get Octane 2019, which is pretty much halfway on Vulkan, but also halfway on metal. And so we do have chunks of Octane, like the path tracer, already working on on Mac, on Intel integrated graphics, and on iOS. So with that in place, and even with this newer technology that can do pre-computed light fields, whatever it is you're doing, we want to be able to have it on an iPad that you can essentially, do live, placement of objects and render them. And whether it's Octane and it's a little bit noisy, or it's this pre-computed light field and there's no noise, that's super cool. And a lot of people want to be able to create things live and in camera and AR, and that makes it possible. So yeah, the pre-computed assets, you can still relight them. I mean, you can still mix them together and they can still catch shadows and reflect off of each other. They just do it much faster. And that technology also could be plugged into a live feed coming from, your iPhone camera or something even more sophisticated, so that you can do, live real-time rendering and compositing. And that is definitely something we want to tackle and productize more, in the coming year.
McDuffie in the chat asks about AI upresing and if that's something that might be coming.
Yeah, so it's working and it's done, but it's not built into Octane yet. Right now, when we used it as SIGGRAPH to build the video wall, that was basically a separate offline tool that we've been using internally, and it works fantastically well.
It looked great.
It looks great.
It looked really good.
It looked amazing. So it's an amazing piece of technology, and we wanted to try. It's only 6 weeks left in the year, so it may just make it into the first release next year if it doesn't in this one. We just want to sort of close out features, and we weren't exactly sure where to add it exactly into Octane, because we could do a couple of things. We can make it so that you can essentially, it's like an Octane where you can render in the viewport at quarter res and then it upreses. We can make it so you can lock to that and just have Octane use the AI upsampler to render it double or 4 times the res. That's probably something we will end up doing. But the better approach would probably be to give you what we are planning to do, which is to give you the ability to have the entire AOV stack and everything else sort of be in the node system, so that you can take an AOV and put it into another node that spits out a file or saves an image or handles post-processing in a much more robust way. And we've been, it's possible to even do that in V4 and certainly in 2018, but we want to make that an explicit feature. And when we do that, then you can have something that says, okay, I want to have this thing upresed with the AI upsampler. And that would be the ideal way of introducing that feature. Short of that, we could just make it so that, you could just render at half or quarter resolution period internally, and still keep the render target size at a certain res, and that would be simple and easy. So we're exploring both, and it's certainly something that should be in Octane, very early next year, if not something we can try to put out there by the end of this year if we can. But yeah, cool. That part's done. There's other stuff with AI that with improvements to the AI denoiser. that are also in progress right now that are looking really good for temporal denoising, which I think is going to be really huge. I mean, everyone, you can use the AI denoiser for animations. You just have to render it at high samples and turn on static noise. So what we're thinking of is building. We have to do a whole revamp of the AI denoiser anyway once we change the materials and add layered materials early next year. So while we're doing that and while we're handling things like hair, which is also going to have a new BRDF, that's when we want to introduce the changes that would allow you to do temporal denoising. And we have some other improvements along those lines that I think will make the denoiser a lot faster and a lot better. So that's something that I think is going to be pretty cool as well.
Temporal denoising, I think, would add quite a bit to it, especially with the animations and stuff.
Yeah.
Will you? So I don't know if this is new, or this is just something that Amit has been playing around with. About a week ago, he posted on Vimeo testing the new OrbX loader in Cinema 4D.
Yeah.
This looks killer.
Yeah. It's to my surprise. So I was with him right in Germany. We went to a Maxon event and it was amazing. And we were talking, and I guess at some point we realized that the OrbX importer, which has been a feature of Octane in the core since 307, it wasn't in C4D, and it was just something that he hadn't prioritized as much. But now that we have things where you actually have all the plugins you can get now for essentially a very low price, OrbX exporting and importing between different applications is really cool. And so I've made it a priority, and it's in C40. I think it's being added now to Lightwave. It should be pretty much added across the board. I actually have a tracking list. But yeah, it's essentially a proxy system where you can, any OrbX export from any of the Octane plugins can now just be imported as, essentially it's a black box, but you can still load it into C4D and use it. And that was always the idea with OrbX being an interchange format, is that you can load it back in, not just export it. So yeah, it's a super cool feature.
Let me ask you this, and you can choose not to answer the question or whatever. But does this not worry you? Like, say someone is using the demo version of the C4D one, and they create all these assets, and then they export them out once you guys release the free version for Blender, and then someone just goes into Blender and renders it out?
It's already possible if you take the OrbX. First of all, OrbX exporting from the demos is disabled, so that's one thing that that we.
Okay.
So the demos don't have
there
it.
You go.
So that helps. But also, I mean, people that are industrious, and some have tried, you can take importing OrbX's into Unity, which is free right now, and still is, has always worked. Like that was one of the major features. Like Unity, basically, if you want your C4D scene exported and brought into Unity, OrbX importing and OrbX proxies have worked from the very first release of that, that integration, and it's always been free. So there's been ways to import OrbXs into free versions of Octane for well over a year now. But exporting is limited, and
I gotcha. Okay.
And that's kind of the threshold we came up with.
That's smart. Yeah, I think someone in the Slack was talking about that, or someone online was talking about what's going to keep us from rendering on just a free version and not having to pay for it. But that's good to know. Yeah.
And there's a new Octane Bench that's out, by the way.
Yeah.
So everybody check that out. You can get because I think, what was it before, people were kind of hacking it and figuring out like a way, and now there's an official version.
Yeah, so we had an updated Octane Bench, it's Octane 3.06, and that didn't work on Volta or Turing. Obviously didn't have all the 308 features. So internally, people could take, rip apart Octane Bench and put in a new engine in their new version standalone and run the batch script, and that worked. And internally, we had a version of Octane 308 that did that. And of course, people were even testing that with version 4, but we felt that, we didn't want to have another Octane Bench 3. We wanted to just wait till V4 to get full support for Turing. We knew the speed was going to go up anyway, so it just felt like that was the right time to officially update the benchmark. And since we've done that, we've already done a lot of the key GPUs and key combinations of the cards that we care about already on this, the benchmark, database, and more to come. So I think, it's going to be interesting. A lot of services that are talking about, even if they're not selling Octane, they talk about Octane bench scores. So they're a little different now on the newer cards, and so they probably on Volta and on Turing, they're definitely higher than they were with Octane Bench 3.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because when people are testing their CPU, they use Cinebench, and when they're testing their GPUs, they use Octane Bench, even if it has nothing to do with it.
With Octane, yeah.
Okay.
That's why I feel so good about making render just a currency based on Octane Bench, because it is truly, it's a great benchmark. It scales, it uses 100% of the GPU power in there. It also scales perfectly across, however many GPUs you have in your system. And if you wanted to extend it across network rendering, it would work, it would scale linearly as well. So it's a great measure of GPU efficiency. And, I think our sort of goal going forward is, well, with RTX, we have to think about what that actually does or what that means for the benchmark. I mean, I think the safe bet is if everything on Octane Bench is just 30% faster with RTX, then that's already a safe way of measuring Octane Bench. But there are going to be cases where RTX is a lot faster, and so we have to think about what that might mean in terms of being able to benchmark that. And until we're sort of done with everything that we're doing with the RTX improvements, I think we're sort of holding a little bit more on what we want to do in Octane Bench going forward. There's also some other things too, which is people that are on lower end cards, when they turn on denoising, for example, it adds time, it creates all these extra render passes. So there is value in also measuring, in some respects, bandwidth for extra render passes and even denoising speed. So we're thinking next year, when we do add RTX into the benchmarks, we might do things where we add separate types of benchmarks for these kinds of things, or we take into account that most jobs may have these kinds of render passes in there. And so that's something that is definitely going to inform future versions of Octane Bench, in the post-RTX world, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So we had a couple people actually. Hold on. Let's do this question first because it's in the chat. Regarding Unreal Engine 4, because people are getting really excited because there's talk of Cinema 4D plugin coming to Unreal and Octane coming to Unreal. Brandon Clements just did this whole video this week that we'll talk about in the show with a workflow, almost like a timeline, like you're working almost in real-time videos. People are getting excited about these game engines. And so the question in the chat room is if there is an estimated release date for Unreal Engine.
Yeah, so the safe estimated release is first half of next year. It's currently in early beta testing, and we basically plan to release it with, the 2019 update. So we're at 2018.1. Hopefully that gets wrapped up soon. So in the 2019 release cycle, first half next year, that's when we want to have the Unreal Engine integration, come out and be a pretty robust beta right off the gate, and probably give ourselves a few months before it's final. But that's the time frame that we're looking at, and it would be part of the all access plugin subscriptions. So when you just get that if you're already on that plan.
Let's see, Guy L. This is an interesting question. What are the plans and scheduled for implementing a random walk SSS model, as well as allowing much needed additive material blending?
Yeah, I think when we had met up there, you had talked about like one of the future versions, including some random walk subsurface scattering. Isn't that right?
Yes, and I sort of talked a little bit about that in the Slack channel as well. But the version after 2018, 2019.1, one of the major features that we know is coming there is layered materials and substrates. And those are basically additive. So you can basically take, a diffuse BRDF, put it on top of a specular, and put another diffuse on there, blend those almost like Photoshop layers.
Nice.
The substrates are for subsurface scattering, same sort of thing for transmissive pieces. That'll significantly improve subsurface scattering, by the way, just having that kind of layered system in there. For artists, the reason we also didn't put that in 2018 and pushed it out to 2019 is that we found a way of making it much simpler, just in terms of artists being able to stack these materials together than we had at SIGGRAPH, and even when you guys were down here. So that work is pretty far along, and that will be in the very first 2019 XP1, whatever that is. Basically material layers and substrates will be in there. The new hair BRDF should be in there as well. And as soon as those pieces are done, the next update to the material system would be to do things like random walk in the subsurface scattering pieces. So that's our, number of steps, I guess, ahead from where we are today with 2018.1.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the layer stuff just because, back in the day, there are certain ways I used to do my layering just when I was in standard render. and it sounds like it's going to be a lot more similar to that. So I'm super excited about that. We also wanted to ask you about some non-OTOY stuff.
Okay.
For instance, what technology that's non-OTOY right now are you most excited about?
Well, I guess it goes back to my earlier, discussion around the holographic light field labs display. I mean, that is, that's a Star Trek holodeck in the making right there. I mean, by the end of next decade, we will have, it might cost money, but you can have a room filled with holographic panels, and you got the holodeck, and it'll be touchable too. So that is, just outside of what we're doing at OTOY, that is probably one of the most exciting pieces of tech that I'm tracking, and that's one of the reasons why I just partnered with the company. And there's some stuff in the glasses space that we're seeing that's really cool, that's not out or announced yet. But those probably, I mean, it's beyond sort of the stuff that is sort of continuations of things. Like, for example, the fact that the iPad Pro is probably, Octane Bench will probably be around 60 on that thing. It's crazy. The world is going to change a lot in the next few years. And I'm excited for that, because I do think that you're going to see, what used to be desktop GPU power on both phones and tablets, especially iPads and iOS devices. So that's one of the reasons why, it's not so crazy to consider doing Octane on those devices, in the very short term. And I see beyond that, anything that allows us to visualize things without a screen, spatially, holographically, AR, that's important. But I do think that holographic displays is a surprising development. People were thinking that was way further out. It's really, it's not decades out, it's years. So, with the biggest versions of those probably being available the end of, early 2020 or the end of next year.
Snipe in the chat asks, when can we ship? I lost it, Matt. What did it say?
When can we ship our Unity apps with Octane ray tracing capabilities?
In game mode. Also first half of next year. So we're Unreal and Unity are both going to have a very similar set of features, the way that Octane works. We in Unity, you now have the ability to run Octane in game mode. The ability for that to work separately from within Unity Editor or Unreal Editor is coming, but we just felt the best thing to do was wait until Octane 2019 was done.
Yeah.
We might at that point also have the ability for Octane itself to run in game mode, if you don't need all the other TCC integration pieces on things other than NVIDIA GPUs. So that's where all that gets a lot more interesting, and that's currently the plan.
Okay. And Ray Zero's asking about the OSL stuff. Like, are there going to be more samples and stuff put out, like the Flakes one that was posted in the forum a while back, where you can mess with stuff?
Is there a place that you know of where we can go to reference how to create OSL shaders ourselves?
Because a lot of us aren't like full programmers, or maybe we dabble and we can kind of hack our way.
Yeah. OSL is really not meant for artists. I mean, it's meant for people that create things for artists. So that, I mean, in other words, if people, there's a lot of people that create plugins for C40, and you got to think of OSL as the plugin system for Octane. And now that you can create geometry with OSL, and you can create cameras with OSL, and you can create just about any node, probably at the end of the day, we're going to have OSL, equivalent to that. It's basically an SDK that, and that's one reason why LiveDB is being revamped, because the best way to sort of get people access to these things would be to have a whole new category of LiveDB that is nothing but OSL nodes and things like that. And you can then add those nodes into the, and you can already do this with some of the Spectron lights and things like that. You can create node types that are, that look like they're built in. And that's where like this revamp to LiveDB is coming, is really coming into its own, where, a repository of these things will be there, the ability for users that publish those things to show the source code to those OSL shaders will obviously be there. And I guess we could have already, since 3.08, had a LiveDB section for OSL, but knowing that we were making major changes in 2018 with Vectron OSL, with shapes and objects and all these things, we felt, let's get 2018 out there, and let's then, work on a LiveDB revamp that has these kinds of pieces in there. I think the other thing that we can do is probably have a section on the forums that includes a lot more examples, but ultimately it should be inside of Octane itself. And we're working on that. I mean, it's definitely a priority, especially with 2018 done. I mean, all this crazy Vectron stuff. I put out an OrbX that has like 20 samples in it, just little things you can do with it. But those real things really need to be almost in a list like you have in LiveDB, where you can see what these different operations are. We can add on them. Users can create more of them, and ultimately that's where LiveDB is going. So that's probably going to end up being a great repository. You can also, by the way, in that system, have tutorials and videos and things like that. It's not just necessarily going to be assets and nodes, and that's one of the reasons why it's going to turn into much more than what it is today.
Cool. Interesting.
Anything else? Anybody else in the chat have any other questions that they want to ask? If not, there's the FAQ on your site that covers a lot of this now. You're in the Facebook group, and you're in our Slack now. So anybody has questions in the Slack, go to the Octane channel. You can hit us up there. Hopefully that covers everything. Let's see. Any future plans for AOV system?
Yeah, that's in 2019. We I was mentioning earlier that we were going to have it so you can take a specific AOV and connect it to, I guess if you use Arnold, it's like a driver node. That's definitely coming in 2019, so that you can have you can create arbitrary AOVs, but you can also then decide how they get outputted, and also you can create node graphs with them as well. So you can take things, if you want to have mix different channels into RGB. The idea is that in the AOV system, yes, they're monochrome, but if you want to have an RGB, basically equivalent of a multi-mat for V-Ray, or I think pulsar mat in Redshift, whatever, you can just do that. It's something that we want to basically build a node system for the entire post-processing stack, and that is something that's on the 2019 roadmap pretty early in there. And that's also where, again, it'll make sense to have post-processing effects, like, for example, the AI upsampling that could be put into that graph as well. Multi-light should be trivial. And I also think one of the things that people love is they love the ability to render it in Octane and never leave Octane. In other words, post-processing, everything's done in there. So if we can get a lot of the things from After Effects and Photoshop, although we do have an After Effects integration that comes with All Access now, or will shortly, the idea is that you can set up those post-processing nodes and do everything in Octane, and just have your beauty pass come out of that. That would be pretty cool. So that's definitely a priority for us early next year with the post-processing AOV node system. And we're not going to have this fixed set of AOVs. You'll be able to just create new ones, add more of them, and essentially they'll be their own nodes that'll allow you to direct sort of a whole post-processing node graph how you wish.
Nice.
Cool.
This one I don't even understand, but I'm going to read it. Snipe says, GLTF/GLB importing for standalone Octane?
It's coming. So in Octane 4, we shipped an FBX exporter as well as an importer. There's a new node in Octane called Export Mesh, and we're working on a full GLTF and GLB exporter. It'll also then, once that's done, it'll also import. You'll just be able to import GLB and GLTF, and then we are also. I mean, it's not in the very short-term roadmap, but we are also looking at USDZ as well, and the same system, export and import into the core of the engine. And so we'll probably have some further updates on that early next year.
Is GLTF, is that the one that you can post to Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sage just said, it's the Facebook one, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, I have used that before. I converted something to it once, but I haven't been messing with that much. So my question for you actually is, have you gotten any sleep yet?
There was a period of time leading up to the launch where there was no sleep for almost 2 days. But yeah, since then I've been getting a reasonable amount of sleep, and I'm feeling a lot better. So thanks for asking.
Good. Well, we know I can't even imagine how much work it is to roll something out like that. So we know you've been working hard. So we're glad you had a second to come on and talk to us about everything. So we appreciate you being on. Is there anything else you want to cover while you're on?
No, I think that's it. Let anything. I'm available now on your guys' Slack channel, Facebook.
Yeah.
Any questions that anyone has, feel free to hit me up.
Al Heck had a question. Is there an issue with redundancy of built-in processes in Unity, Unreal, and Octane processes, GI/post-processing, etc.?
Yeah, there's overlap, but and the thing is, it's okay, because if you want to use Cinemachine, for example, in Unity with Octane, like you can just take the render target output of Octane and put it through Cinemachine. Probably within Octane, there will be some overlapping, post-processing systems that we'll add, because more choice in that part of the system is fine. As far as GI goes, I mean, obviously, when you're talking about Octane, your Octane's own, calculations for that are what you'd be using if you're using Octane to render or even bake. But specifically for Unity, there's a bunch of AOVs that we generate, for example, like light direction, that are needed for Unity to actually be able to use light maps correctly. So we'll continue down that path, and we'll still support these different mixed modes. I have a strong feeling that regarding light mapping in general, like once we have light field baking really working nicely, including the playback that you guys had seen, at our office, that will be a game changer. Like, people would just be able to use OrbX importing, see it in the viewport, and bake to light fields, and then bring that back in, and it'll look beautiful, and it'll be like a game engine, game engine speeds basically. So that, I think, will be a big reason for people to use Octane in Unity and Unreal pretty soon.
All right, Matt. Anything else? Matt? Is he there? He might not be there. I guess something happened. Anyway,
what about now?
Yeah, there you are.
Sorry, my microphone just stopped working for some reason.
It's probably static. It's probably that time of year, right? I right now, if I touch my keyboard, my monitor turns off temporarily. Yeah. You know, stuff happens. All right. Well, we're gonna do our other show stuff here on the live stream. We really appreciate you being on. I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon. I can't wait to get my hands on the new betas and start working with that as well. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
As always. Take care. Bye, guys.
All right. So we're still live. If you want to stay on for a second, it's okay. We can talk about things, but just remember that we're still live. Okay. As far as wrapping this up, we're good here. Just if you want to send us the file via email or whatever, we'll be good to go on that end. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks again, and thanks for registering for the Slack. That's really cool.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's going to be great when people have questions and stuff. So
yeah, I love it. It's been great.
All right, cool. Well, we'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, just send us that file. Thanks, man.
All right.
Absolutely. Take care.
Take care. Guys. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Now my mouse is being weird all of a sudden. What's going on?
Jules, do you need to hang up? Or Clay?
Clay, can you hear them?
Well, I can remove you, but my mouse isn't working. What is going on? There we go. All right. Hold on 1 second. I might have to unplug my mouse.
Dude, so you got me. I missed me saying bye because my recording stopped as soon as my thing went haywire.
Oh, that's fine. I figured it did. Right. So that it was static. It's whenever you left.
Yeah, something like that.
It's whenever you
left.
left.
I had to run downstairs. They're like, "Oh, we got done with your stuff. Do you want to look at it?" I'm like, "No,
no,
I don't have time to look at it. Sorry."
Yeah, that's okay. It's all right. I just
need.
I just need to get my mouse back. It's only moving left and right at the moment for some reason. I'm just gonna unplug it. I'll be right back. Oh, there's always a technical issue, isn't there? Oh, there it goes. Just started working again randomly. Okay, there we go. I got it back. All right, Matt, can you hear me?
Yeah, I had it muted.
Okay. I'm going to stop my record and do a new one so that we can realign.
Now. Like that was just the interview.
All right.
We're still live on the internet.
Are you rolling?
I am rolling now, yes.
Okay, cool.
Everyone can hear you, Nick.
All right.
All right, you ready?
All right, new clap.
That note.
Oh, hold on.
Lame.
Close enough. All right.
I am not smart, man.
1, 2, 3.
Sounded perfect on my side.
Because you're the only one.
You really smell like
dog bun.
Ooh. Thanks, Rick. Yeah, I just did that. So like I had it initially, you know, where it was just single ones going around, and then Amy like messed it up in a good way and put like double reels. I was like, oh, I really like that. So, and then I just also hung up my my skateboards as well. You can see all my half-res
your
skateboards.
decks, bro. Check out my decks, bro.
Yeah. So.
All right. All right. Are you ready to do the rest of the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's make it short. I got to pick up my kid in an hour.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't have that much to go over, just some links and junk,
Yeah.
so we should be done pretty quick.
You got a sleeping kitty behind me. Oh, look at that
you
cute
get Garfield.
He's pretty fat. Just don't touch him.
Yeah.
He'll stop the recording.
All right. Here we go. What up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph Broadcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
And Brograph is a supplement to our site, Brograph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other MoGraph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the man. You can email us, brograph@brograph.com. Let us know what you think about the show. Give us a little bit of feedback or ask your questions. It could be something super noob. It could be something highly technical. We'll try our best. So this week, first of all, the Schmoopies got married.
The Schmoopies. Congratulations
Congrats.
to David Ariev and Chelsea Schmoopie.
Sorry we couldn't make it. It was kind of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, dude. I had 40 people at my house.
Tell you what,
Thanksgiving.
Guys, Schmoopies, at your next wedding, we'll be there.
What does that mean? When you renew your vows in like 10 years,
yeah,
we'll be there.
Ray Zero was there.
Yeah.
Came all the way across the pond for that. That was cool.
Yep.
God, I wish we could have been there. So congratulations. Congratulations. Yep. We'll be hanging out soon, though.
Yeah.
We'll be playing Halo soon. So check this out.
Okay.
The new Halo. The new Halo is coming out. What is it, December 28th?
Yeah. What is it? Is that Halo 6?
Halo Infinite, I think, is what it's called.
Infinite?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, Sage says we're going to make them renew their vows in Vegas next in April.
NAB.
The quickest vow renewal ever.
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome. All right, so the new Halo is coming out. We're all going to have to get on together, have a little bro time. I wonder how many people we could get in one session that are Brograph people.
Oh, I don't know.
That would be fun. Kind of like the GTA stuff. Dude, you and I have to play GTA soon. I keep playing, and I'm like, God, I wish Matt was here to drive this vehicle so I could shoot these people. I have so much stuff in there now, dude. You don't even know.
You're such a good driver.
I have hangars. I've got like special ops planes. I've got spy equipment. I got spy satellites. I can spy on anybody. Like, dude, you gotta come and see all my different things I have set up. It's insane. I have the Brograph Club. It's a little club you can hang out in. I've got the Brograph offices. I'm making money in there, though.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Doing what? Selling drugs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, how else are you gonna make money?
I mean, that's no different than regular Brograph.
True.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, okay. Ray Zero said, "Are you playing GTA on Xbox or PS4?"
No,
the answer is PC Master Race for life. But here's the question that's coming up: Halo is going to be on Xbox and on PC.
Ooh.
That is a really, really tough dilemma because I don't know what to choose because everybody's going to have it on Xbox, but I want to play it on PC.
Yeah, but like, will it be like Fortnite, where you can play it on no matter what you're doing?
I hope so. I'm going to have to look it up and see because I want to reserve my copy.
Don't reserve a copy. Wait.
Oh, see, Ray Zero has it on PC. We need to get on PC and play. Dude, we got to get
what on PC?
GTA.
Oh, yeah, we've got it on PC.
We got to do a GTA PC sesh.
All right.
And go to the Brograph offices and hang out and then go sell some drugs and kill some hookers.
Oh,
you know. Have you seen the Taco Bell commercial for the new Halo, by the way?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny because he's got his character doing this dance, but he's essentially teabagging without the person on the ground. But it's really funny because he's doing this like constantly through the whole commercial, and you're like, you know that the people who know Halo are getting a kick out of it because they know what he's doing. Like he's practicing teabagging. Are you watching it? You are. It's obvious, right?
Right.
It's obvious that it's a teabag throwback, you know, in the commercial, but okay, you'll just have to watch it. You'll have to find it on YouTube and see what I'm talking about. I just thought it was funny.
He just threw a sticky grenade at himself. That's hilarious. Oh man, that taco looks good. Or double chalupa? Dude,
Ooh,
double chalupa?
Nothing compared to the quesarito. All right, so in the game channel on Slack, we'll get a little thing going, so we can do some GTA. We'll figure out a time and day. We'll do a little GTA sesh, maybe in an evening or something. Maybe in an evening that's just late enough so that the people like Raid Zero are just waking up, or maybe not in bed. I don't know. We'll figure out the timing on that, but. I was also thinking this is probably too late this year, but maybe next year we should do a Brograph Secret Santa. That would be kind of fun.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of late to do it this year, don't you? I mean, we still have a month, but we'd have to like organize it and figure out how we're gonna facilitate it and things.
Yeah, man, that would be so tough.
It would be, but it would be fun if the Slack channel or something had Secret Santa.
Yeah.
Or even if it's not Secret Santa. I don't know.
No, I think Secret Santa would be fun.
Okay. Also, just other random notes here. XSplit, who does the software that we use to stream, came out with a new beta of something that they're doing. It's like a plugin called VCam. So it takes your cam and it brings it in, and then it kind of does stuff with it and spits it back into the stream software or whatever. But the interesting thing is they came out with one of those things where
background removal.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like what iChat did a while ago. Remember when iChat you could do different backgrounds and things without a green screen?
It would basically take exactly what was behind you and get rid of those pixels or whatever.
I was skeptical because I'm like, okay, how good can this be? You know, because even green screen is hard to do. I mean, look at my headphones and stuff; they kind of disappear a little bit. It's not bad. This is really good, but I tried it. It was as good as I thought it would be, though. You know what I'm saying? It was better than the iChat one. I get that. They have a special button called Remove Chair, which works really well, actually. So, like, I was sitting in my chair, and then you hit the button, the chair disappears. Weird. You know, I don't know what it would do with this microphone. I didn't try that, but, you know, it's not bad. If you don't want to buy the $99 green screen or $150 green screen, you know.
I'll have to do that. I need to get the green screen. But we're still working on setting up my little closet studio. Once I get the closet studio, I can't
believe you're really gonna do all your broadcasts from the closet.
Oh heck yeah,
man,
it's gonna be awesome.
So when you sure you want to do that like all the time?
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's gonna sound so good.
Yeah, it will sound good, but I figure you'd want to come out of the closet, so.
I'm not even giving. I'm not.
No bell?
Giving you no. No, you don't deserve a bell for that. All right.
Raid Zero says, anybody know the plugin for Cinema 4D where you can paint objects into your scene dynamically, like randomly placing them? Yes, because it's on my show notes. It's the new plugin. It's called Nitro Draw. Check out Nitro Draw. It's supposed to be like a new version of what that was back in the day. Is that right?
I think so.
Raid? Phil?
Phil?
Hmm?
Yeah?
Hmm?
Yeah?
Huh? Yeah? Yeah? All right. So let's talk about other stuff and things. My laptop, the power supply has
died again?
Fried in the same exact place. And it was...
Dude, what are you doing to these? What are you doing to
the gauge of the cable on this power supply is not thick enough. That's the problem. It's not a low enough gauge. So
you should honestly, okay, so you bought a new one, right?
Yes, I already talked to support. They're sending me a new one.
Good.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah. But but of course, as soon as it started to do that, it was like, okay, I did smell a plastic burning smell, so I like wrapped it with e-tape, and as soon as I did that, of course, it just stopped charging.
Jeez.
So now I got a computer that's dead again.
I did that to a bunch of my Christmas lights while putting up Christmas lights. I had a bad like extension cable or whatever. And so I plugged it into one set of my lights and it like blew all of them, but it like didn't light up at all. I'm like, well, I guess this one doesn't work. Let me try another one. That blew that one.
Oh God.
Did it again. Blew another one. And I'm like, why aren't any of these working? Oh, it must be the plug. And so then I try plugging each of these in. And I'm like, well, that doesn't work. Finally figured out. Yeah, I blew them all. Sucks.
Whoops.
What are you going to do?
So actually, let's go to Ravcock. What's your flavor?
What's your flavor?
Corona Renderer 3 is out, and I've been looking at some of these things people have been producing. The live viewer for it is pretty fantastic. It's a lot faster. I'll post this video so that you can see it. Somebody did a little side-by-side comparison. Also,
whoa, that's way snappy.
Yeah, very snappy. And the Bitcoin price crash has caused bankruptcy and mass cryptocurrency mine closures. So there's going to be a lot more cards coming down the pipeline used.
Great.
Even though if you're using Octane, you may or may not want to use
GPU AI denoiser. That's interesting.
GPU. Oh, and Corona 3?
Corona 3, yeah.
But it uses the GPU?
It uses the GPU in order to denoise it.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
That's insane.
So, let's see. What else do I have here? Oh, okay.
Oh, I just, Sage, I just Google searched Corona Renderer 3 in YouTube. So,
check out... on ArtStation, there's a guy named... Oh God, I have no idea. Okay, I'm going to spell it. C-E-M is his first name. Second name, T-E-Z-C-A-N. So he's got some ArtStation work. He posted this on the Octane Facebook group this week. He's creating these models of things like VCRs and televisions that are all fully driven by displacement. So in other words... If you want one of these TVs, you make a 5-sided box. Actually, for the TVs, it's one polygon. But he has created the layers and the displacement that is so good that it will turn that one polygon into a television. Like, it's ridiculous. So cool. Did you find it?
No.
Oh, you didn't find it.
Where is it? Where is it again?
Well, he's got it on ArtStation. If you search for his name, C-E-M... T-E-Z-C-A-N, and of course this link is going to be in the show notes, so you can check that out. But it's, man, pretty killer, because he did, I think, a VCR, so you could use a 5-sided box. And yeah, Matt, could you type his name into the chat? You're on chat, right? You could even paste, I don't know if you can paste the link in there or not, but he's been posting this in the Facebook group. Paste.
There we go. Yep.
Are you able to? You're able to post a link?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, is your admin? Okay. So, man, so cool, and I think he put like making of. Yeah, that's right. And so check that out, because I think he's offering this so you can use it for stuff. It's like, yeah, use Substance Designer to build it. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Looking at the TV.
Yeah, so like if you need a TV for a project or something, I really like this method of building. It's really cool. Yeah, at one polygon. So.
Wow.
Also, we've been talking, we were reviewing, I guess, this Octane Master Course. This is from epicjcreations.com.
Yeah. I've actually got one of our contractors going through it right now.
Yeah.
Nick, what do you think? Is it a good buy?
I've been perusing the master course just to take a look at it. It is, I think, $299.
Yes.
And it is very extensive, though. I did log in and I checked it out.
Yeah.
And it covers a lot of stuff. And so I haven't had a chance to really look yet and see, okay, is this something that an advanced user needs or not? That's my question, is because I haven't watched all of it yet.
I don't think so, because it's going in. I've been slowly watching Nick as he's been going through it today, and like he's gone through lights. Right now he's on materials.
But there are sections on nodes that go like super in depth from what I can see, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know everything about every node.
Yeah.
You know, there's some stuff that I just have never needed or really looked into, and maybe this is a good way for me to learn that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Sage says, does Brograph have an intern like GSG's Ivan the Intern?
Yeah.
Nick the Noob. Oh my gosh.
Nick the Noob. Aww.
Already.
They called you Nick the Noob. Said yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. If you're just learning Octane.
Yeah.
Pickle Nick.
Pickle Nick.
Oh man. I think Raid Zero might have beat Sage on that one. Nick the Noob, Pickle Nick. Man. I want to get a Pickle Rick ugly Christmas sweater.
Oh really?
Yeah, I really want one of those. Is that too much to ask? All right. What else do we have here? So that's the master course. Also, Raphael Rao, this is something he posted somewhere. I don't remember. I'm guessing it's Octane forums or Octane Facebook because I haven't. This wasn't like a public post. It's one of those posts that you have to have the link for. So this is making of work life. He goes into a couple different things that he worked on, but he shows that still life that we saw, because, you know, people have been doing the still life stuff. And so it's like, how do you create that look, you know? So he kind of goes into that for a bit. So there'll be a link to that in the show notes. It's anything Raphael Rao is always like, you know, super awesome and educational and interesting. And I think he was watching earlier. I don't know if he's in chat though. He was watching on he was watching on Facebook earlier.
Oh.
But yeah, so I know everybody's getting into still life stuff. So if you want to look at some of those techniques,
man,
really
dude,
cool.
I'm like digging this Corona Renderer 3.
You're still looking at that, huh?
Yeah, I'm jumping around.
All right. Well, we're going to go over to our little interview segment here because, as you all know, Octane 4 has been officially released.
Officially.
As well as 2018.1 XB1 standalone only.
Yes.
Some of these abbreviations and things are really hard for me to remember, but yeah. See? Silverwing VFX. Hey guys, I'm actually here. He's here.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
Hey, when are you going to be on the show?
Right?
Right?
Yeah. All right.
We got nothing. Oh no, next week we're back. Oh, what about I'm going to go ahead and yeah. What about the 10th?
Oh, you're gonna book it? You got to put it in the calendar thing that I did, dude.
I got to put it in the calendar.
We have like a scheduler now for guests and things.
Mr. Rao.
Mr. Rao. Mr. Wing.
Mr.
We really want to talk to you. Like we talk about you all the time on the show. So we're publicly inviting you now.
December 10th.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'll bring up my calendar here too as well, so we can look at the Brograph calendar. So next week, how do you pronounce his last name? Justin, is it?
I don't know.
Is it Leduc or Leduc? See, I don't know how to pronounce these things because I only read them on the internet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Raphael Rao, he says, of course, let's schedule something. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you some info after the show. We can get you all set. I got a little podcast primer thing before we do the show, the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our people will talk to each other. So Justin is the one who made
and Amit's on. Hello, Amit.
And Amit's here. and we're about to go to Jules. Okay, we got everybody here today.
That's
awesome. Great.
So Amit, if we could get you on the 17th.
All right. Justin though is the dude who made the Grim Reaper thing, right?
Yeah.
And Justin, okay, so most of the time when we have people on the show, we've talked to them before in real life. You know, we don't know Justin that well, so this is gonna be a little bit different because we're really gonna be asking a lot of questions because we just have never talked before. So if you're familiar with his work, if you have any questions, put that in Slack or somewhere for show notes, topic ideas, whatever. I don't know. There's 100 different places you could put that, I guess. Rick Bogus says totally unrelated to this discussion, but have you seen the normal map generator materialize from bounding box software? I'm gonna have to check that out. Nice.
Cool.
All right. Where are we at, by the way? Oh, we're gonna go to the interview.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Something, something, something. Blah 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 blah. Thanks for being on. And
all right. Oh, maybe I should record my thank you here. So now you've got that.
Nah, well, I mean, we'll be fine.
Right.
If you want to do it, you can. I don't think we need it.
All right. Awesome. Thanks so much.
That works.
There you go.
This is the real stuff on the live stream, people. It's the real deal.
You get
real
to see
deal.
how we really do it.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to some links.
Dave's links.
Dave's links. Dave's links.
Are you still putting that on here?
Dave's links. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
The music's on there. Nitro Draw. We talked about this earlier.
There's so many people. Oh, never mind.
What?
I'm like, why are there so many people on the chat? I had the wrong YouTube thing up.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Nitro Draw, we
Hey,
just
Bob.
talked about that. Nitro Draw, check that out. We'll have a link to that. Oh, there's a new tutorial from Noseman. I haven't talked to Noseman in a while. I do remember we did post the picture from DFWC4D with Chad. Oh no, it was with Chad and everybody at Already Been Chewed, Barton Damer. And he commented on Twitter, he says, I hate all of you guys.
Yeah.
But so he's got this new tutorial, and he basically said ripping off Entagma, shaping displacement using modulo and noise in Cinema 4D, R20, and fields. He says also please consider Entagma. So he's doing some Houdini stuff in Cinema 4D. So I'll post a link to that. Gotta check that out. Also, the Red Giant end of year sale. Did you see their little advertisement for the end of year sale?
I didn't watch it. I heard something like, didn't they just use a bunch of stock video?
Yeah, it looked like a drug commercial. They side effects may include using the VHS filter on everything.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is true, because all you want to do is play with that VHS. It's so fun, but it's such a cliche to like use that on your video now. You know?
Yeah.
If you do it, you gotta do it subtly.
Here's something. So I had a whole bunch of footage that I had to edit together. You know, it was separate audio and video. I was like, and Premiere just doesn't have a simple way to be able to take a whole bunch of it and say automatically do this. I was like, oh, what's that one software, blah blah blah, that'll all do it? And I was like, oh, Pluralize, right? Because Pluralize will do it. And I was like, who makes that? And I was like, oh, Red Giant. Oh crap, I've got that.
You've got it.
They gave it away for
you
free.
can do that in Premiere though.
Yeah, but it's so long if you've got all these individual clips. If you don't know which one is specifically lined up,
oh, I got
you know,
yeah.
You can't just take a whole bunch of crap, throw it in there, and say, "All right, you figure it out."
I
Pluralized it. It did it in like 5 minutes.
You know what I do?
Problem.
I like pre-compose the audio all into one timeline and then do it.
Yeah, but then
I still have problems with it.
Then you have to do each individual video track.
Right. Yeah.
Pluralized, man, it was awesome. Like I just dumped it all in there, said go, and then exported as a Premiere project. Just opened it right up. Took me 5 minutes. It was awesome.
Oh, and Bob's in here from X Particles, right?
Bob, we're if you guys good old Cyber Monday sale, Black Friday sale,
seriously,
get it while it's hot.
Oh, we got to do that today.
Yeah, we got to.
We got 2 licenses to upgrade.
Yeah, we got to update our Oh, and this is something that I didn't know. So anytime there's a good deal, Bob mentioned this.
Uh-oh. Matt, I'm losing you. I lost you. And you're gone. You're completely gone, Matt. You're completely gone. Man, his internet just took a dump. Matt. Where'd you go, Matt? I hope I didn't lose the interwebs. I hope it's just him. We'll see. Oh, let's see if we still have... Yeah, I still have internet, so it must be him. Matt, if you can hear me, I'm hanging up on you and trying again, because you're completely gone. Let's try this again. I need to call him back individually anyway.
Fun day.
I like that you're still talking. Did you know you were gone the whole time?
I knew I was gone at a certain point.
Okay.
It's just started going beep.
What's funny is your audio sounds so much better now that you reconnected.
Does it?
Yeah, like a lot more live.
Okay.
Marker. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Was okay, so like right now, if you go Cyber Monday and you get the maintenance deal on X Particles, you know, you don't have to just buy one. Like you can buy like 10 years worth, you know, for that price, and they'll just keep on. It'll automatically update your maintenance stuff.
Wait, what do you mean? Like every year?
Yeah, so like literally, he was saying you there's no limit to how many you can buy. You know. So like you can buy one and then you'll be good for the next year once it runs out. You know,
it tacks it on to the next year?
Yeah, it tacks it on to the next year. So you could go and buy like, you spend like, you know, $1,700 and get 10 years worth of X Particles maintenance.
They stacking.
Yeah, dude. And then if they raise the price, you're like good. Like, right? You know?
It's like forever stamps.
It's like forever stamps.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway.
Cool.
Yeah.
Man, everybody has stopped by today. This is pretty incredible. The only thing we need is for like Noseman to drop by.
Oh, I'm sure he's already listening.
Or maybe some of the Maxon folks. I bet they're listening.
Yeah, where are they? They've been quiet lately.
That's because they've been fleeing from fires, dog.
Fleeing from fires.
Fleeing from fires. That's new. I know. That's what I was gonna say. It's a new band name. All right. What else do we have here? So we've got that. We got Red Giant. Chad Ashley sent us a cool link on YouTube. This is After Effects versus Fusion. What is faster to create motion graphic-y stuff in? You'll have to check that out. And
well, which one won? Can you just tell me?
I
didn't watch it.
I didn't finish it. Because
so you don't know how it ends?
I don't know how it ends because I was watching it and somebody called me because I was watching it on my phone, and so I was like perusing it and I got distracted like you do. Yeah. So you'll just have to check it out.
I went and saw The Grinch and Wreck-It Ralph this past week.
Any good?
Wreck-It Ralph was pretty good.
I knew that was out. I didn't know The Grinch was out.
Here's the thing about Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph, both the first one and this one stress me out. Because, you know, he can't leave the arcade, otherwise, you know, they could get shut down. At least that's the whole premise of the first one, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And so, like, they're out in the internet, and it's like, okay, you're worrying me, Ralph. You got to get out there. You got to get back. But whatever. Anyway, it was, I will recommend watch it till the very end credits because there's a preview for Frozen 2 that is quite good.
What? Frozen 2, huh?
Yeah, dude. Watch it.
Frozen 2. Let it go again.
No spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
is that the slogan?
Then, I saw the Grinch. You know, the Grinch was good. It's a different story than the normal Grinch. You know, but still the same story. You know,
it's 3D or 2D.
It's 3D. Yeah.
And does it look like the original, this 1960s whatever?
No. I mean, yes and no. I mean, he looks like the Grinch. He looks like he does like
seems like Dr. Seuss style though, right?
Yeah, the Dr. Seuss style, like the Lorax. You know, like the 3D one of the Lorax that they did. Yeah. It looks all the same,
okay.
You know?
Yeah.
It's good, and it was Benadryl Cumberbatch. You know,
Benadryl Cumberbatch.
Bendy
Suckty Bears Buck-Six Truns.
Right.
Humpty Back. That's
Benadryl chamomile tea.
That's the Eddie Izzard.
Yeah. At Humperdinck. What's his name?
Engelbert Back Buck-Six Truns.
Right.
Engelbert
so anyway,
Humpterback.
It got you all the feels, you know, like I wasn't sure about it at first, you know, and it was, you know.
Bob asks, is Frozen 2 100% CG live action?
Yes.
If you haven't been following the Lion King memes.
You know what? I got a problem with that too. I'm jumping on the bandwagon because
it's not live action.
Live action. If
I know.
There's no live footage shots.
I know, and you get to see Mufasa die again in high res.
Right.
That's the meme, right? Is that the meme? Is that what the kids are doing, Matt? I don't know.
I just saw the Patrick Star meme. You know, the one where there's the bad guy and he's like, "Is this yours?" You know, he's like, he says, you know, so you're telling me that there's no live action footage shot? That's correct.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, but and the entire thing is CG animated. That is correct. So this is a animated this is an animated movie. No,
this is live action CG.
All right.
Okay. So what they're trying to distinguish technically is the difference between like an animated cartoony looking thing like Frozen or something that's ultra realistic. But is that really the best way? Because live action doesn't mean that it's photorealistic. Why don't you say photorealistic animation? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are there any plates? There's nothing that's live action. It's not like they shot all the scenes and then like added. No.
Yeah.
So even the
it's
scenes.
A style thing. Yeah, it totally. Yeah, it's absolutely the style.
Interesting.
Whatever.
Also, the video from Brandon Clements, the 2018.3 HD render pipeline in Unity. And I don't know if you've checked this out, but I have installed Unity just so I can check this out.
Ooh.
And I haven't loaded it yet, but I got Unity and Unreal installed on this new machine yesterday. So the timeline though is like, it looks like you're working in a nonlinear timeline, like video production software or like Premiere or something, but you're inside of Unity, and
that's weird.
You've got scenes in there that are basically real time. Like there's this kitchen he's got in there. You'll have to check it out once I actually go through it. I believe he said he was posting the files, so once I go through it and check it out, I'll kind of report back and let you know what I think.
Yeah, I probably won't do that.
You had something marked in the notes, and you just said Tree Golem Vimeo.
Oh yeah.
And I searched. I could not find the link. I don't know what it is.
Oh man. So this was. Oh, I found it. Brian, from Already Been Chewed.
Yeah.
So bring this up here. I'm gonna put it in the chat, in our chat, right? And I'll put up in you and mine's. In our Slack. So bring this up, and I'll put this also in the regular chat. So
why is it on your face if you can't click on what's on your face?
I don't know, because it's stupid. Anyway, so Brian Talkish from Already Been Chewed did this entire thing himself. It's a short little video.
Oh, he did it himself. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Dude, it's gorgeous.
All right. So I don't know if I should probably mute it, but okay. Wow.
Yeah, right?
So, oh, that looks like Groot.
Yeah.
So
it's a golem. It's a tree golem.
I'm guessing this was Redshift, huh?
I think so, yeah.
Man. Looks okay, I'm putting this in the show notes. This is really cool looking.
It was in the show notes.
Well, yeah, but it just said Tree Golem. I couldn't figure out what it was, but I'll make sure I put that link in there.
Dude, Brian is a badass.
Well, we were telling him the other day that he doesn't post enough stuff online. You know, he's got all this
hot lava stuff.
Oh yeah, we talked about that on the show.
Yeah.
Hot lava. The fields are hot lava.
Okay.
All right. Quick start. Oh yeah. So speaking of the fusion stuff, this is a quick start for Blackmagic Fusion.
Yes.
This was by who did this?
It was Rich.
Rich Nosworthy.
Rich Nosworthy. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So so I was, I wanted to go through and do some fusion stuff. I wanted to try it out, and so I watched this quick start. It's like maybe an hour long. Maybe an hour and a half or something, but it's a great resource for getting up and going in Fusion. It teaches you a lot about like basic workflow and stuff like that. And I was up and running in it, no problem within, just after watching for a little bit.
I just got to say, speaking of everybody being in the chat already,
yeah,
Brandon Clement says he is updating the link to that YouTube description with the link to the project files.
That's funny.
Awesome. I'm ready to check that out.
Yay.
So, all right. So yeah, we'll post the Blackmagic thing. You also posted a link to this. I saw this article as well about Apple. It says Apple Shock Move drops essential codecs.
Yeah.
Moving away from Intel, possibly. What's the deal there?
I didn't. Stupid. Hold on. I got to bring it up because.
I mean, it seems right. It seems right. Let's just abandon what we have and screw everybody over and not care about anybody except for consumers. Yeah.
Apple is dropping support for DNx HD, Cineform, and Sony HDSR formats.
Okay, wait, in what?
In their future Mac OS releases. So
don't you have to install those codecs by yourself anyway? Or were those default I didn't think they were default codecs.
DNx HD definitely was not.
It's like nothing was already a default codec. You had to install it and use the old QuickTime. So it could sit there and convert it every time you open a file to another, like, because you want that.
What is this Microsoft possibly buying Adobe? This is not the first time I've heard this.
Really? I didn't hear anything about that. Is it something new?
I don't know. Is this just a joke?
Are you guys telling jokes? I love jokes.
You type in Microsoft buying, and it's like Microsoft buying Sony, Microsoft buying EA, Microsoft buying GitHub, Microsoft buying Obsidian.
Here's the thing, though, about that whole Apple thing is like I looked at that and I'm like, screwing themselves even more. Good thing I'm not on a Mac anymore.
Right?
That's all I thought. I was like, sucks for them. You know, it's all I got because like I'm not surprised. I know they're not going to listen. They're just making it worse. So
why Microsoft could potentially buy out Adobe.
Okay, here's something that I want to put in the Make Windows Suck Less thread, if it's a possibility. Speaking of DNx HD, is there a way to friggin' load DNx HD or your other codecs into like the basic media players or even VLC? I guess for that matter. So that you could like just watch the video that you just rendered out of your browser?
Just use VLC.
VLC won't open it either.
Won't open
DNx HD? It wouldn't for me. Maybe I have to install it manually, but I thought that the whole point of VLC was that it like had all the codecs, or I could download them.
You can, because I use VLC for everything.
Do you view DNx on that? Why can't? Okay, I got to figure out. Okay, because I know on Mac, all you would do is you take your codecs and you dump them into that QuickTime folder, and then you're good to go on everything. And so I guess I don't understand that part of it, but don't touch the cat on the couch, dude. It's gonna screw up your microphone again.
Yeah, see, Grant says VLC should be able to play DNx HD.
See, why doesn't my... Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out
maybe you need to reinstall it or something.
Maybe. And then there's a new Deadmau5 video out.
Yeah.
For drama free. This is another Smearballs joint.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's listening too. You never know. I mean, everybody else is.
Best.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
So, check that out. We'll put a link to that. That just came. I can't believe there's already another music video.
I know.
That was quick.
Mr. Balls must have been just working like crazy.
Good job, Mr. Balls.
Well done, Mr. Balls.
Let's go to VR Corner real quick because I wanted to talk about a couple things here. First of all,
do it.
Been kind of setting my VR stuff back up, so
yeah, I played.
Trying to get back into
during Thanksgiving, I had a whole bunch of people up here, and I was having them try it out. I basically every chance I get to sell someone on VR who hasn't tried like a legit,
a real one.
Yeah.
It's like, I tried the gear. I tried the gear. Wasn't that great?
Yeah. Well, I don't understand what this VR stuff is. No, because you haven't tried it.
I put my phone in cardboard and it was okay, but it wasn't that cool.
Yeah. So
big difference.
And so I did that for Thanksgiving. Had a whole bunch of people try it out, and then my kid was playing it all day yesterday.
Playing which one?
Beat Saber. He likes Beat Saber.
I tried Accounting Plus or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah?
It's really funny. It's really funny. I installed it. I didn't know whether or not it was for kids. I guess it's 17 plus or whatever. It's full of language, but this is Justin Roiland joint.
Oh, okay.
So he does the voice of nearly everybody, I think, in this thing. So it's like a VR Inception game. So the reason it's called Accounting is because the whole premise is that you're the new accountant that just showed up to work your new job. But in order to use your accounting software, you have to use their VR accounting software. It's just so funny. It's the way he does voices, you know, this kind of nonchalant, kind of off the cuff. People talking like this, you know, because kind of, I gotta, you know, that kind of talk, right? So it's that plus the echo that kind of makes it funny. And then when people start yelling and cussing on top of it, it's just, I don't know why it's so funny, but it's like you show up and you put on the goggles. So once you put on the goggles, though, I mean, this isn't really a spoiler because it's right at the beginning of the game. It's not a big deal, but you show up in this world and there's this guy sitting there and he's like, "What the F are you doing? Get the F out of here. What are you get the F out of here. F you, F you, F you." He starts talking and you're like, "Why is this guy yelling at me?" And then the accounting guys call you and you are in the wrong place. It's the wrong software. And so you just have to keep putting on VR goggles in every scene. And you just keep getting deeper and deeper into these worlds. Like you show up in this world and like, to get out of there, you've got to put on the VR goggles, but they're in this guy's butt. So you like have to like pick up the character and put his butt in your face. So really funny, really, really great. It's, of course, it's the people who made the Rick and Morty game. It's the people who made, I think, some of the games that are, I want to say it's the same people who worked on the, what's the game? Job Simulator.
Okay.
Job Simulator.
I need to give this a try.
Yeah.
How much was it?
I don't remember. They had a sale going on though. I don't know if it's still going on.
All right.
I got it on sale. There's another one called Cooking, which looks kind of like Job Simulator. It is not a good. It's not a good program. It doesn't work very well. And there's also a short that just came out that I downloaded. I thought maybe my daughter would like that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, you know what it's time for?
Oh, do we have to do this?
Yup.
No.
Yup.
We had him on the show. We had Peopleception. We don't need to do this anymore.
I know. There's some really good ones, though. Take out your Beeple viewer of choice.
All right.
And we're going to go to November 21st, Year Overlord 2018. This one is called Technical Heaven.
Pretty.
What do you think? I felt like this is kind of throwback Beeple.
I think he got a whole bunch of kit bash stuff, decided on something he wanted to do, and then just did it in like 2 hours.
This has this is Beeple 2017 feel to me. Okay. Because you got the monk dude.
Yeah.
And it just feels like a 2017 piece to me.
Okay.
Which is cool. I like it.
Yeah.
As far as the story goes, what I think is interesting is this little piece around the monk guy looks like the little doorway for the holodeck.
Yeah, that's the transmufog.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Transmufogifier.
It's the debigulator, the rebigulator.
This would need some kind of rebigulator.
This is preposterous. So, I'm guessing this is Kit Bash. This has got to be Kit Bash, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Especially after talking to him last week.
Yeah.
So, pretty good. All right, the next one. November 22nd, the first Retribution Day. So, this is Thanksgiving, of course.
Loved it. I thought it was great. I love the low angle shot.
Yes.
It definitely makes the turkey look huge, which it is, but it gives you this small feeling like it's overpowering. Very pretty, good composition.
It gives us a little bit of an explanation though as to maybe why they started doing these animals and things, because he decided to do another story for this one. So this has to do with genetically modifying food, and he says every year scientists all over the world competed to see who could make the biggest genetically modified turkey, and every year they would smash the record from the year before. Eventually, people were starting to put an insane amount of time into this, and what could possibly go wrong? As you can see. There you go.
Beautiful.
The turkeys are taking over, but it does give insight into like the big animals and stuff. Like it's a good primer for that. So then the last one we've got here is November 25th. This one's called Absorption, and this to me, what's the first thing you think of?
Merc's plugin.
And then
I mean, I would say a Brodeur.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
The sphere part is very Brodeur. Yeah. It's like Brodeur mixed with Beeple. I like it.
I love the color on this.
Mm-hmm.
Like
subsurface.
How everything's got like that kind of monochromatic purplish color.
Yeah.
You know, very pretty.
Yeah.
Very, very pretty. Like I love that he matched. Yeah. Everything. It just kind of has that same purple hue. Very pretty. Very pretty.
Cool.
Anyway. Yeah.
All right.
Well done, people. Mike.
All right. Well, that's it.
Man, I was gonna say I was like pretty stressed about this show.
Why?
You know? But things went a little smoother than I thought.
Oh, now you did it.
No, because
your file's gonna screw up. You're still.
Like, it already does every week.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say because I had people coming over to the house to fix the house. You know, there was only one time when it was like going, you know, and then
I didn't hear it, so that's good.
There you go. There you go.
Well, we got projects and clients calling and texting, and it's like, oh, you're away from your computer for 2 hours. I'm just gonna, my phone's gonna ring all the rings.
Yep. I've had some of my lower tier, some of our lower tier clients.
Lower tier.
Texting and being like, hey, can I get this done?
New stuff?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yes, but it's nothing big.
Well, we probably have to do our Monday meeting now after the show because we got a lot of stuff to go over ourselves, make sure we're on the same page. It's going to be a busy holiday season, which is super awesome. Because then we're going to take off for after that. Maybe you're going on a vacation at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to Disney World. Brodeur's going to meet up with us.
Oh, really?
That Sunday, yeah.
You know what you got to do at Disney World?
Oh, yeah.
You need to find something green.
Yeah.
Or
Oh man,
have him do the bit.
Like right in front of the castle or something, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review. You can also subscribe to us. Helps get our numbers up. You can subscribe to our newsletter. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with a no Brograph, no Brograph, no Mograph tee, the Gate and Simone limited edition version, which is still out.
Oh my gosh.
Paul Bab, Phil the Bab 2020, all the profits from that go to Doctors Without Borders, the Render Things shirt and hoodie, and all the secret ones that are in the Slack. The secret shirts, like the one we talked about last week with Beeple, the awful Beeple shirt. Awful Beeple.
Yeah. Awful Beeple.
Awful Beeple shirt. And what else? Is that all the shirts? Did I cover all the shirts? Sure. You can get on our Slack channel. Right now, the entrance is currently closed. However, if you ask us nicely, or if you ask somebody that's already been in there, it's already in there, you can get in there. But we'll open it back up next month if you don't have access to that or whatever. And of course, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Brograph.com. Don't forget that we'll be slowly rolling out these DFWC4D videos, which will be nice.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm working on Chad's right now. Probably do that one first. I was going to save it for last. I think everybody really wants to see this. We're going to try and get it out this week.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that was such a good party. It was a fun party.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
It was a party. Yeah. It was more than a meetup. It was a party. Hey, you should have seen. You should have seen the already been chewed guys. Like as soon as Chad started talking about that Arnold GPU stuff, they're just like they sat down, they grabbed a table close to the front and were like glued to it.
Yeah.
So we'll post that a better version of that. That's not the awful live stream version that we did. Yeah. So. Yeah. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Until next week. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Have a good one.
Later, bros. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Save as. Who? I'm in my window of eating.
Your window of eating. Are you intermittent fasting again?
I am intermittent fasting.
Ooh, I am too. What time of day?
I will do 2 p.m. to like 9 p.m.
Oh, you have a larger window than I do. I only have a 4-hour window.
8. Oh, you're doing a 20 to a 4 and 20?
I've been doing it for Well, besides Thanksgiving, I did it for 3 weeks. I ate 1 meal a day for 3 weeks, and I was in such super ketosis, according to my pee stick.
Did you see this thing on Facebook?
I lost 10 pounds.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good job, dude.
Yeah. I got to get back to it. Like I got to get back. I got to get my body used to only eating 1 meal a day after Thanksgiving.
Right.
But, yeah.
Have you checked out the what is it? There's some Indiegogo thing about like it's like a breathalyzer keto thing.
Ooh.
Where it tells you whether you're in ketosis by like a breathalyzer.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
A pee stick is just as easy though.
I guess.
And you just leave it in the bathroom and you pee on it every once in a while. That's it. Throw it in the toilet.
Wait, the same stick?
No. Only works once.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. You wouldn't reuse the same pee stick every time. It's not a condom, Matt.
God, no.
Oh man, is there still chat going? Let's see what. Hold on. What do you think of that chat room? Where is it? Chat room.
You're fired.
Huh?
No.
Huh?
Turn it off.
Oh, okay.
Turn off the live stream. Turn off the
All right.
live stream.
Okay. Bye, everybody.